No matter the circumstances surrounding your injury, if you were injured on somebody else's property, then you may have what's called a premises liability claim. In this video today, we're going to answer the top 5 questions that we get from our premises liability clients.
What is premises liability?
Premises liability is an area of the law that holds owners of property responsible for any unsafe or dangerous conditions on the property. Now, this isn't just owners. It can be lessees or renters of property. It can be management companies that are responsible for maintaining the property. Anyone that has any duty or responsibility with respect to the property has a duty to keep you safe. And if you sustain injuries, that's where premises liability law comes into play.
What types of accidents fall under premises liability?
A wide range of different accidents can fall under the gamut of premises liability. For example, you have slip or trip and falls that can result from either liquid or slippery flooring, exposed or unsafe wiring, or unsafe entrances and exits from a property. Then you have any other dangerous conditions in the property, like loose handrails, missing steps, faulty equipment, unsafe elevators, any aspect of the property that can cause you harm that isn't maintained by the owners and operators of the building falls under premises liability. Then you have what's called a negligent security claim. These types of claims usually happen when someone else on the property hurts you in some way, whether they hit you, assault you, stab you, shoot you, any way that someone on the property harms you can fall under negligent security, because the owners of a property have a duty and responsibility to enact reasonable safety and security measures to ensure that people that are on the property and have business on the property don't sustain injuries. All these different types of claims can fall under what's called premises liability.
What should I do if I get injured on someone else's property?
One of the first things you should do if you're injured on somebody else's property is seek medical attention. Act quickly to ensure that your health, which is paramount in this situation, is taken care of. That's the most important thing. Next, make sure to inform the owners, operators, anybody that's associated with the property that you've sustained injuries. Fill out an incident report and keep copies of that incident report should you need it for later. Make sure to get names, addresses, telephone numbers for any witnesses that may help provide valuable testimony if you decide to pursue a premises liability claim. And the last thing you should do, if you're able, is document the scene. Make sure to take photos, videos, not only of the premises and the circumstances surrounding your injury, but also of your actual injuries. Those can be crucial if you decide to bring a claim later.
What if I was partially at fault for my injury?
Even if you're partially at fault for your injuries, you may still have a valid claim that you can pursue. Many different states, including Florida, have what's called comparative negligence statutes, meaning if you're, for example, 10% responsible for your injury, then the jury will award the damages based on that percentage of fault. Once the final numbers are calculated, the court will deduct from your final award any percentage that the jury finds you responsible for your injuries. But that only comes into play once you get to a jury verdict. In the beginning of your case, it will be your attorney's responsibility to show the other side that you were not at fault or responsible for your injuries, but instead it was the owner of the property or the operators of the property that failed to take the necessary action to keep you safe. So don't let partial fault or what you think may be you being at fault for this incident prevent you from seeking the compensation and justice that you deserve.
How long do I have to file a premises liability lawsuit?
Unfortunately, you do not have unlimited time to file your premises liability lawsuit. Every single state has what's called a statute of limitations, a timeline of sorts that if you don't file your claim by the expiration of the statute of limitations, your claims may be forever barred, meaning you will never be able to obtain compensation for your injuries. So if you've been injured, do not wait. Speak to an attorney, find out what your rights to compensation are, and know when your statute of limitations expires. If you've been injured on somebody else's property, you don't have to go with this alone. Speak to an attorney that specializes in handling premises liability claims of all different types so that they may explain what your rights are to compensation and fight for you and your loved ones to obtain justice and hold those responsible for your injuries accountable.